Thanks for joining me around the virtual telescope. This is an article that I absolutely want to summarize, get out. I'm going to quote directly from the article because it's a threat to anybody who does visual astronomy, who images, or who are professional astronomers, and this could really impact our ability to study the night sky. My title is called Losing the Dark, the Growing Crowds in Our Night Sky. If you've ever been out with your scope lately, whether you're visually observing or imaging, or if you're a professional astronomer doing your data search, you've probably noticed something that's very frustrating. I've seen it with my C-Star, I've seen it visually too. Whether you're hunting a faint Messier, whether you're going after a really faint object, I go after a lot of faint objects, or you're tracking a deep sky nebula or galaxy or anything, it feels like every other frame is getting photobombed by a streak of light. I recently came across an article, like I said, at phys.org that really puts the scale of this problem into perspective. And honestly, it should be scary for anybody who loves a pristine night sky. It's a bit of a wake-up call for those who do. Imagine going out to observe or image, or having professional astronomers see this when they look up into the night sky. How would you like to see that? That's what could happen. In the article, too many satellites, Earth's orbit is on track for a catastrophe. It dives into the skyrocketing number of satellites being launched into low Earth orbit, LEO. We aren't just talking about a few dozen weather satellites anymore. We're looking at mega constellations that could number soon in the hundreds of thousands, if not the millions, as you'll see here in just a second. And I'm going to quote directly from the article, two quotes here. On January 30th, 2026, SpaceX filed an application with the U.S. Federal Communications Commission for a mega constellation of up to 1 million satellites to power data centers in space. They'd have solar panels on them. They would stay to where the sunlight is hitting them, and they would use that power to power data centers they're going to put up in low Earth orbit. And then again, in the next quote, as of February 2026, there's approximately 14,000 satellites that are up in orbit. An additional 1.23 million are proposed satellite projects are in various stages of development. Now add SpaceX's request for another million, and man, the sky could become very, very, very light polluted and impact both amateur astronomers and professional astronomers in their study of the universe. It's also called the Kessler threat. For those of us at the eyepiece or the computer imaging professionals, again, the problem is twofold. First, there's an immediate visual pollution impact, but the article warns of something more permanent, the Kessler syndrome. This is a nightmare scenario where the density of objects in orbit becomes so high that a single collision creates a cloud of debris, which then triggers a chain reaction of more collisions. If that happens, we don't just lose our favorite GPS app. We could effectively lock ourselves out of space. The debris would make the sky a minefield, potentially ending the era of space exploration and making ground-based astronomy even harder than it already is with light pollution. Can we stop it? It's not a doom and gloom, though. The researchers highlighted in the piece are calling for a global space treaty to manage orbital traffic similar to how we manage international waters. They're pushing for mandatory deorbiting, making sure satellites are brought down safely at the end of their lives, collision avoidance tech, better eyes in the sky to prevent those initial crashes, international regulations stopping the Wild West approach to launching satellites by every country. The article shares this statement with a link where you and I and the public in general can submit comments on this proposal. Quote, the public, and here's the link, can currently submit comments on this proposal. I've submitted my thoughts. I encourage you to do the same. My take, as a visual observer and sketcher, and getting into imaging with my C-Star, I've always felt that the sky is a shared heritage. I really believe that. We spend so much time fighting light pollution from the ground, but this is a light pollution from a source that we just can't hide from. When I'm out there working through one of my observing lists, especially looking for faint objects, I want to see the faint fuzzies of a distant object, not the glint of a piece of space junk going through my eyepiece or multiple pieces. We need to treat Earth's orbit like any other fragile ecosystem. because once it's gone, no amount of dark side travel is going to bring back a clear view of the stars or of the Milky Way. What do you guys think? Have you noticed an increase in satellite streaks in your long exposure shots or at the eyepiece? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear if it's bothering you as much as it's bothering me. Clear skies. We'll catch you later. Have a good one. Thanks for joining me on this important topic.